There's two ways I approach my futures challenges, and the first one is the semi-aggressive way. Now, this is the approach that I used to do before I got my first two funded accounts and before I got my first ever payout, as you can see right here. Now, futures challenges are billed monthly. They are cheaper, but if you don't pass them in 1 month, you'll be billed again for the full price. Discounts, which you might be getting them on, they only apply to the first month for the most case, which means if you got a 20% discount or a 35% discount, it will only be applied for your first month, and then you will be billed for the full price. Now, there's one concept that you need to understand before you go ahead and choose your first challenge. And that concept is the profit to drawdown ratio. This is something you need to understand and something that you basically need to master. Now, don't worry, this is very easy. To get your profit to drawdown ratio, you just divide the max drawdown by the profit target, and the closer you are to a ratio of 1.0, the easier it is to pass the challenge. Now, let's take a look at some examples. As you can see here, these 100K accounts, they have a profit target of $6,000 and a max drawdown of $3,000, which if you get $3,000 and you divide it by $6,000, you get a 0.5 profit target to drawdown ratio. Now, you might look at this and you might look at it like, this is not too bad. 0.5 is actually half. I got half of the drawdown of my profit target. That's, kind of good. Well, yes, but there's a reason why you don't see all these trading influencers and people trading futures. There's a reason they don't trade 100Ks or even 150Ks. There's a reason why they trade the 50Ks. And that reason is simply because this has a higher drawdown to profit target ratio. Now, let me put this into a practical example. Let's just say you are risking 1% on your 50K account. That's $500 risk, and you will need 4 losing trades in a row to blow your account. Now, if you're doing the same with 100K, that's $1,000 risk, right? You would only need 3 tries before your account gets blown and you breach your challenge and there's no more funded account for you. So this is the reason why you see these people trading 20 50K accounts, 10 50K accounts, and not 10 100K accounts. It's simply because it's harder to breach if you're trading a 50K account. There's 2 rules I keep in mind while trading the challenge. That's the 50% consistency rule for my funded futures and Top Step. And then there's the trailing drawdown on equity for Apex only. And this is essentially the reason you get 2.5K. This right here, this does not mean that you're actually getting more drawdown than on your Top Step and your My Funded Futures account. This actually means you're getting less drawdown. And I'm going to explain to you why. Let's say you were in this trade. Your entry is right here. Your stop is $200 and your max running equity was $200. You decide that it's a good idea to move your stop to break even so that you don't take a loss. While you're not getting a loss on your balance, the difference between your max running profit on your trade and you hitting break even, which is $200, these $200 will get deducted from your 2.5K drawdown. So now, even though your balance still says 50,000, your drawdown is now 2.3K. And this is essentially why they give you an extra $500, which is not really an extra $500 because you get this stupid rule on top. But let's say even worse. Let's say that instead of you moving your stop to break even, you decided to go and let it go to the full stop loss. Your balance would show $49,800. So you would think this is a $200 loss. Wrong. This is actually a $400 loss because the $200 from your max equity, from your max profit that you were running on your trade, minus the $200 of your stop loss. So now instead of, let's say, 2.3K, you're actually getting 2.1K drawdown. And that's essentially how Apex trick you into thinking that you get an extra $500 drawdown. Now, with that said, here's how I approach it. I do $500 risk per trade. This is what I consider to be semi-aggressive, with a daily profit limit of 1.5K for my funded futures and Top Step, because they actually have a 50% consistency rule. And I limit my trading to 1 trade per day, because it's very easy for you to just enter on a trade, exit, enter again, exit, enter again, and all of a sudden you just blown your account in 1 day. This guarantees that it's going to take you at least 4 days to blow your account, and you need to take 4 losing trades in a row, and then your account is basically gone. But let's look at 2 scenarios. Well, best case scenario, there's a 3-trade winner. You get into a winning streak, 3 trades in a row, 2-to-1 risk to reward, and you pass quite fast. You're happy, you got your funding. Worst case scenario, renewal day is near and you haven't been able to pass the account, which is gonna leave you with 2 options. One is to be very aggressive and try to pass the account before the renewal. The other one is you pay the renewal and continue trading normally. Now, I only recommend this approach if you're still stuck at, I don't know, 50,500, 51,000 something. This is where I recommend you just use this. You just go aggressive and you try to pass the challenge like 2 days before. Always keep in mind the 50% consistency rule. Or let's just say you were $52,000, right? And you're thinking, oh, I don't really want to risk because I'm only $1,000 away, and I would rather play it safe because I'm so close. I'm literally one winning trade away on a 2-to-1 to risk to reward, so I would rather just pay the renewal. That's simple. You just pay the renewal and you're good. Either way, both of these options will lead you to pay the renewal, which is $77 for my funded futures and $50 for Top Step. Now, for my approach, and this is what I consider aggressive, there's just one requirement, and that requirement is that you've taken a payout. This is the approach that I took after I got my first payout, but there's a caveat to this, and that you cannot be getting your payout with a little bit of luck, and then you think you're there, you're consistent, and you can do this, and you just start going with this approach because you just want to scale, right? You need a proven edge that you can consistently execute every day with minimal mistakes. All right. So this is very important. If you don't have this, don't even bother trading challenges, in my opinion. So this is the approach that I do. And there's 4 things that I keep in mind: the 50% consistency rule and trailing drawdown on equity. This is for Apex only because I usually just go max size on this. And I also keep in mind the max position size, plus the price of the challenge and the activation fee. These are all factors that I consider before choosing an account and try to pass them as fast as possible. And this is how I approach it. 1.5K profit per day, and I'm trying to pass this as quickly as possible. There's a reason why I essentially gamble the challenge phase and get into funded. And that reason is very, very simple. By now, I already know that I'm profitable, so I don't want to be spending too much time or too many weeks on my challenge phase. I just want to get my funding and start trading my funding so I can get my payouts, because the sooner I get out of my challenge phase, the sooner I get paid. It's only a matter of time before I get another payout, because again, I can consistently execute with my proven edge. So let me give you an hypothetical scenario. My funded futures, let's say you hit a max payout on your core account, and that's $1,000. With an 80-20 profit split, that's $800 hitting your bank account. Now, an $800 payout lets you have 10 challenge tries on my funded futures. That means 10 challenges that you can either pass or fail. Now, if you're not able to pass in 10 challenges, at least one, then something is wrong and you need to go back to your drawing board and see what you did wrong. Maybe you're not executing on your edge properly. Maybe you're not following the 1 trade per day rule. You just need to go back and evaluate your approach. So let me give you an example. if you pass on the fourth try, because let's be honest here, you're not going to pass every account on your first try. No one has 100% pass rate on their challenges. There's going to be some accounts that you're going to lose, and there's going to be some accounts that you're going to be able to get them to funding. But let's just say you pass on the fourth try. If you pass on the fourth try, that's $492 net profit on your investment if you're going for my funded futures. Now, to me, that's pretty good. And just to show you that I'm not talking this out of my mouth and I don't even practice this. This is exactly what I did. And I even did it with less. I did this with a $500 payout that I just showed you. So I bought four accounts actually on my funded futures. There's one missing right here. And you can see that I put here, what, $400 and something. If you're counting the fourth account, I put up here almost $500, which is almost my full payout. I put it all back into my funded futures, and out of these four accounts, I got one payout. I've blown the other four, but that was actually because of inactivity rule. You can check that video on my channel. But out of these four accounts, I was able to take $1.159.33 profit. That's a 2x on a $500 investment. So after you get funded and after you have a proven edge that you can consistently execute on, it's just a matter of time before you start hit your payouts. This is the system I use. It's been working well for me. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I'll be more than happy to answer.